I'm going to start today's video with a question. Why are you ignoring your own suffering? And what message is that sending out when you do? You don't deserve to be emotionally spiraling and unable to find peace because of a specific person, money problems, the way you look, some other circumstance in your life. You don't deserve to have these outside circumstances to have control over your mental peace. You should never allow any circumstance to have this kind of power over you. In fact, when you catch yourself in this and you start to feel that emotional power that something is having over you, that should gross you out. You should be like, no, I do not want this. I do not want to have anything have that type of power over me. I am the one who controls my mind, my thoughts, my emotions. Never let outside circumstances run your life. So I am going to just talk a little bit about affirmations. I personally think affirmations are great and they work. Now, depending though on where your state is at, if you are suffering and you are in a bad mental state, I will never be the type of guide to tell somebody, hey, just, affirm through it. Now, can affirming through maybe a bad mood help bring you out of it? Of course. But now there's certain time periods, and I hope you guys kind of understand, where someone is genuinely suffering and doing affirmations is not pulling them out of it. In fact, doing the affirmations about the specific topic that they are trying to bring into their life is actually making the situation worse for them, and it's actually making their suffering worse. So going back to my original question, why are you ignoring your suffering? If you are really having a hard time and affirming over and over and over about the specific situation that you are trying to bring into your life is actually making you feel worse, or it's not helping you improve your state, why keep trying that at this point in time, okay? Because different techniques are going to work in different states, in different times of life, okay? We are not just this linear human experience that just never changes and we're always the same. No, we change every day. What works for you one year might be different than what works for you another year. And I'm not saying that it doesn't work. So don't put that in the comments that I'm saying that affirmations don't work. But what I'm saying is if you are suffering and a technique is making it worse, let's try a different technique. And if you are dead set on doing affirmations, there's different styles of affirmations that you can do that may be less triggering to you. So I'm going to give just a couple pointers about affirmations. If you still want to use them, yet you find yourself being consistently triggered by the affirmations you're using now. So my number one tip is, anytime you are in a state of spiraling, anxiety, upset, when you have a thought pop into your head, before your brain just starts running with the thought, the moment that thought pops in, I want you to affirm the opposite of what that thought is. So now I am going to, on the next screen, I'm going to put some examples so you can just have them, you can screenshot them, you can pull them up on your phone whenever. So when your brain starts going through those thoughts, you have something immediately to redirect, say the opposite with. Now, if you don't even want to do that, and you're still looking for some sort of affirmation to use, what I like to do, it's done and everything's perfect. It's done and everything is perfect. And that's it. Don't go in depth. Don't go more in detail. Don't try to work it out in your brain how everything could be perfect and how it's going to be done and all that. Nope, it's done and it's perfect. And that's it. That's all. Because guess what? You absolutely can control your mind, and you absolutely can just drop the thoughts and drop the focus on the topic at hand. And that's actually going into my next point. Sometimes if you feel so bad, you should just completely drop the topic and come back to it at a later time when you are more grounded and centered and can think about it from a different perspective that isn't rooted in an anxiety spiral, okay? So what this could look like is, you start that anxiety spiral and you're just like, no, like, I'm going to drop this thought. This doesn't mean you're not going to get what you want. It just means you're not going to put yourself through unnecessary suffering and trying to like redirect the brain for 2 hours straight about a topic that you're just really, really upset about. A lot of people don't want to drop the awareness of their like wish fulfilled, or they don't want to drop like thinking about their desire. And in a way that is also kind of like an anxious, like coping mechanism. Like if I just keep thinking about it, like then it's gonna come, right? But it's not necessarily like that, because the whole point of this philosophy system is it's already done. It's already in existence. There's nothing left for you to do. So you can affirm all day long if that's what makes you feel good. But is that necessarily needed? No, it's not. In this philosophy, that's not needed. So because of this, there's no real point to keep focusing on it. It's time to go do something else in your life that makes you feel good. Just go do something that brings you just a morsel of happiness, okay? I'm not saying you have to go off to like Bora Bora or to Hawaii and do like this huge thing to like make yourself happy. It can be just like going to Starbucks and getting like a new drink, or going and spending time with a friend. One of my other tips is when you are in these spirals, okay, and you're telling yourself to drop it and you're trying to drop it but you can't and it's just really hard, I would go out and go do something amongst other people. Go to a coffee shop and study. Go to the mall. Go just out to a store. Go to a park. Go be in a different environment than the environment that you are spiraling in, if possible. If you can't go out, then go into a different room in your house, or go outside in your yard. Do something to change kind of the environment, or clean your environment, clean up your house, clean up your environment, move the furniture around. Do something to kind of like change up what the brain's focuses on. And of course, another thing you can do is just let yourself feel it, let yourself be upset, but don't let yourself resonate in it for a long time, okay? We want you to be resonating in a mind state that is akin to what you want. And this doesn't mean you're never gonna be sad. It's not about never feeling anything negative ever. That is not a real thing, because we are in a human experience. And like I was saying earlier, human experience isn't linear. The whole point of human experiences is boop, 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 boop. We're going all over the place because we're having a human experience to learn something. So, anyways, don't put that kind of pressure on yourself. Just try not to actually resonate in the state for long periods of time. Also, if you can, try not to take life so seriously. Like when you are going through circumstances, like really think about it. Like you're sitting here in human form, aware of reality, somehow. And most of us can't remember anything before this and no clue what could be after. So to really sit in that for a minute and then look at your circumstance, I mean, things maybe just don't seem the same, right? Like, I try to do this whenever I find myself sitting in circumstance in my mind and just thinking about human circumstances. I will catch myself becoming aware, or I'll force myself to become aware of being aware. I will force myself to sit and be like, how are you even perceiving this right now? How are you here? You're just here. You're here on earth in this human form, perceiving of this reality. Like, when you actually say that out loud, it changes how you view the reality. It changes your mindset. You start to have deeper questions about, like, the nature of reality. And suddenly your circumstance does not seem so crazy and hard and impossible, because you are somehow in existence. How is that possible? Yet your circumstance is, like, impossible? Also, you are not your thoughts. Going off this awareness topic, you are not the thought. You are the awareness observing the thought. So you can drop the thought. It is not impossible. You can let it go and go do something else. So I want to leave you off with kind of a tangent. When you ignore your suffering, as above, so below, what makes you think others will then not also ignore your suffering? So in Buddhism, there are 3 poisons, 3 fires, 3 negative qualities of the mind. And in Buddhism, they state these negative qualities of the mind are what cause all of the world's problems and all of your internal problems. These 3 problems are greed, which takes the form of a rooster, hatred, which takes the form of a snake, and the third problem is delusion or ignorance, which takes the form of a pig. And I'll try to insert an image here, but pretty much each problem, each animal is eating the other animal in this cycle. And this cycle in Buddhism is considered samsara, which is the endless cycle of suffering. So life, death, and then, as they say, reincarnation. So I'm just going to briefly focus on 3 because I feel like in some way this is all kind of interconnected with what I'm talking about. So 3 is delusion or ignorance. And this is where you are seeing reality in a skewed, warped way. You're not seeing reality as it truly is. So like I asked you a question in the beginning, I'm going to ask you a question at the end. Is your view on how things should be, how things should go, how things should proceed in order to get to what you want, is it influenced by delusion or ignorance or a false view of reality? Is your view of love influenced by delusion? Are you not seeing it in its truest, purest form? Because in Buddhism, the definition of love is to wish for others to be free from suffering.